Life is an amazing podcast, and it is presented and hosted by myself, Caro, and my sweet dog Sparky. Give it up for him. I hope you're ready. Enjoy. So welcome to another episode of Go For Your Life, and I'm doing this wonderful series called Rescue Angels, and I found a rescue angel on Instagram. Her name is Angela, and we are talking from California, aren't we, Angela?
Yes,
yes.
In California. Yep.
Welcome, Angela.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to me about this very important thing you do, because you have a wonderful Instagram account called Rescue and It Shows.
Yes.
And that's also a Facebook, right? There's also a...
Correct.
People, so that's what people
Facebook
can find
and
you.
Instagram.
People can find you. And you were just mentioning to me that you have 6 kids with 4 legs, right?
Yes, we do. We have 6 rescue dogs, and we foster, and then we also do training and boarding, and we're always around dogs. Tons of dogs.
Wow. And how did you get into rescuing and everything you do?
So I've always loved animals. I went vegetarian as a kid. Then I learned about the dairy industry, so I went vegan. And with dogs, when I was a kid, I didn't know. We had a few dogs from shelters, but I didn't really know about the rescue world or anything like that until I was an adult. And my very first 2 dogs, which were not rescue dogs, my boyfriend at the time, he brought them home. And of course, I couldn't say no once they were there with me. You can't say no to a dog then. But we did get them out of some questionable circumstances. So I'm glad that we got them. But then one was a pit bull, and I started learning from experience and also from, TV, movies, stuff like that, social media, about the stigma that comes with pit bulls and bully type dogs. And that got me more into, I knew fairly early on as an adult that I wanted to do more, wanted to foster dogs. And I knew that any dog that I had was going to be a rescue dog. So after my first 2 dogs unfortunately passed away fairly young, one was congestive heart failure, and another was she ended up having tumors in her stomach, and kind of, so we had to say goodbye to them fairly early. But each time when my first dog died, I adopted my other dog, Nala, and she's from a rescue out in Las Vegas, and she made my surviving dog, the pit bull who ended up with congestive heart failure, she made him a puppy again. He actually, with congestive heart failure, he lived for an additional 1.5 years, and I credit that to her. And it's rescuing her. She by no means replaced my first dog, Dana, who passed away. There is no replacing a loved one, but rescuing her in memory of Dana, and knowing that I could open up my home to another dog, I can't explain how much that helped with the healing. Yeah, how beautiful. So when my pit bull ended up passing away, his name was Midnight. When he passed away, I decided it was time for 2 more dogs. Of course. So I ended up rescuing 2 dogs. That's Taz and Blue. If you go on my page, you'll see
they're everywhere.
Always cuddling. They came from the same rescue, but did not come. They didn't know each other prior to me taking them home. They just happened to be from a wonderful rescue out in Orange County, and so that kind of got me on the path of adopting rescue dogs. As far as fostering goes, I wanted to foster, but I wanted to make sure that I was capable enough of doing so, especially having 3 large dogs. So my current boyfriend is actually a dog trainer, and we've been together for over 4 years now. And he runs his own dog training here out of our home. And I figured, now I have no excuse. Dogs are a bunch of dogs anyway. We can do this. So we finally took the leap and started fostering for a couple of rescues a little over 2 years ago. And we tend to sometimes we get lucky and get the easy fosters. A lot of times they give us the more challenging ones.
Because they know that you can handle it.
We can, exactly.
Okay, they can just go to Angela. Okay, awesome. Yeah, all right.
Exactly. And so we ended up the first Yeah. So since with our first three, then we ended up with three other, rescue dogs. We just couldn't say no.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now we're at our limit. We're trying not to foster fail anymore,
Yeah,
but we are
because you
still
have
fostering.
6 dogs of they are
Yes,
with you forever home kind of thing. And
correct.
how many would you sometimes on top of that foster? Like how many dogs do you have in your house sometimes? Like
We've had up to about 20 dogs total, but that's not that are actually living with us. That's just some are here for like the day, or some are
yeah.
just here for training. But as far as fostering, we've fostered at most 4 at once.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And that was before we adopted our most recent dog. So we would have, between our first 5 and then up to 4 fosters, that would be 9 living with us.
And this
So
this is
now
amazing. Wow.
and now we're trying to keep it to 1, on occasion 2 fosters, but for the most part we're trying to keep it to 1 because we are getting a lot busier and it's just the 2 of us. So we have to make sure that we're keeping everything safe for the dogs.
Yeah. And do all the dogs get along with each other?
Yes, they do. They love each other. They eat together. They sleep together. They play together.
Yeah.
Some of the dogs, it takes a little. Some dogs, just like people, it takes a little bit longer to open up, to warm up to each other, that type of thing. But all of our dogs, they're used to being around a ton of new dogs all the time.
Yeah.
So when we bring in a new foster or a new training dog or anything like that, they accept them. Their dogs are amazing like that. They're so much more accepting than people are.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Just yeah, I've seen it a lot too. And have you had with the 6 that you have, your 6 dogs? Did they come from really horrible situations? Have you had like, has it been very challenging to have them with you, or how has that been for you?
So my first one that I adopted from Las Vegas, she was just dumped at the shelter. And she was a puppy with her litter. So her situation, aside from being in the shelter, we don't know much about it, but she was pretty young. My 2 boys, Taz and Baloo, they were also dumped at the shelter with injuries to their back legs. They had one had damage to his kneecap and one ligament damage on his knee. So they both had surgery done. Not quite sure how that happened or the extent of how bad it was. Their history is also fairly unknown. And with our other 3, nothing traumatic that we're aware of. One of them, we ended up, he was our foster, and we picked him up from the shelter. So we don't know, he was just kind of a stray. They found him. Don't really know much about his history either. So a lot of our personal dogs, we don't really know what life was like before for them. But we do have some dogs that have come to us for training for behavioral issues, and their histories are not the greatest. So we've seen a lot of that. And then with the rescues that we work with, we have to be careful about the dogs that we bring home, just because we have so many dogs. And again, safety is paramount. Especially when you have so many dogs. So we have to be careful about who we bring home. But a lot of the dogs that we'll kind of work with the rescues on, they've had fairly traumatic pasts and trusting of people, and who can blame them?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Terrible. Yeah.
Because I feel like people should really go and check out your Instagram again, Rescue and It Shows. I will definitely also put this in the notes so people can find you, because I feel that what you do there, first of all, I'm in love with all your dogs, obviously, because I'm like, Angela is wearing a dog mom t-shirt, guys, at the moment. So I so know what she feels, because I always say dogs are my people. Like, they're just my people.
Yes, they are.
And I really like, because you're so educational, like, not only do you have you have all these cute photos there and really funny posts, but you also really educate people, which I think is so, it's so important and so inspiring.
Thank you so much.
So I wanted to share a few of your posts, and one of the posts that really stood out to me was this post that you said, you're saying in this post: adopted dogs take 3 days to decompress, 3 weeks to start to know your routine, and 3 months to start to feel at home. Give them that chance. Because do you feel also from your experience and working with in different shelters and knowing different people. Do people not give them that chance? Like, do people give up on them too soon?
Yes, unfortunately, far too many do. And every dog is different. Those numbers, of course, are just kind of general numbers. Some dogs, they adapt right away. You take them home, and it's like they've been there for their entire life. Other dogs, it can take months, even a year or so. It all depends on the dog and the environment that they're in. So when you have a very, dog savvy person, a dog savvy family, even the most challenging dogs tend to come around a bit earlier, but they still take time. It's just like us. I mean, imagine being a young kid, like a toddler, who you don't quite know what's going on, and you're just being passed from house to house, from shelter, wherever you are, from classroom to classroom.
Yeah, it's unsettling,
it's
of course.
Disorienting, exactly, very unsettling, and we need to give these dogs a chance. We hear all the time through the rescues we work with, even our own foster dogs. We've had several that they were adopted and then returned. Some people will go as far as to, which is really horrible, rather than calling the rescue back, they take them to the vet to be euthanized. I don't know how you can do that. It's horrible. But yeah, the whole thing with that is just and that's one of the things that we try to do at Rescue, and it shows, is we try to educate the public, because that's where it starts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, rescues and shelters, they're doing the best that they can. They can only do so much, but nothing will change unless we start educating the public and changing that mindset that it's okay that animals are disposable. Giving dogs or cats or whatever animal you're bringing home with you, giving them a chance to really, truly, get comfortable and find themselves and learn what it's like to be in your home environment is crucial. If you don't give them that chance, then you're setting them up for failure. That's not fair. It's not fair to them. They don't have a choice in the matter.
To not give up, especially. And it's interesting what you're mentioning, because every single rescue angel that I spoke to so far, and especially Jason, who also wrote a book about his rescue, Gibson, the real Bobbins. He's so great. He's really mentioning education as well. And I think education is so important, because, you guys do amazing work. You're doing all the rescuing, you're doing the fostering and all that kind of stuff. But everything is education. Like, I see it also. I mean, of course, I spread the word for veganism all over the world, and doing this in all different ways. So, and I see that too. It is, I mean, education is where it all starts, and in a compassionate way, So I think that that's why what I was mentioning also from your Instagram, it's like, it's so fun, because I was really, like, every post I really read, and it really hits you, like, it really, it was very, I really, you have to keep doing what you're doing, Angela, because it's so good.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Speaking of which, I had one here that I'd like to read a little bit to the listeners, because it's something that I think I used to myself actually had a very judgment about, is kill shelters, or shelters that do actually euthanize dogs and cats. So you're saying here, which I think is really powerful, you're saying a lot of people still seem to have very misguided views of kill shelters, ignorantly blaming the shelter and its staff for euthanizing animals. While not all shelters are created equally, and there are unfortunately far too many who knowingly and intentionally fail the animals in their care, the majority of shelters care deeply for their animals and do their very best to keep them happy and help them find loving families. The problem isn't the shelters. The problem are irresponsible humans, breeders, and people who buy from breeders. They are the reasons that our shelters are overflowing and too many animals are being killed for space. Now, thank you so much for that. I think that was such and it's something that I really, really feel so, deep in my heart, is this adopt, don't shop, like these people that just, these puppy mills and these breeders that just, it's all game.